Hey guys, Kim with Provectus Group. Today I want to talk with you about something that can be a little bit confusing, and that is at what distance should you be zeroing your rifle at, whether it's an AR-15 or whatever. More specifically, a rifle that you plan to use for self-defense. If you go online, especially on forums, social media, Facebook, things of that nature, and you're going to see things where some people are like, hey, you should zero at 25 yards, 50 yards, 100 yards, etc. The most common that I would say that you're going to see is probably the 5,200 yard zero. In a self-defense situation, I want to be able to put the red dot on the same place on a person every single time. Consistency is a huge thing. So if I'm able to say, we always talk about aiming high thoracic cavity. So if I can put my red dot high thoracic cavity every single time, regardless of the distance, let's say a distance of 3 yards, which is your average violent encounter, all the way out to say 200 or 300 yards, that would be ideal. So we've come up with this zero that we call the 6-inch effective zero. And what that means is this: I'm able to do exactly what I just described. I can put the red dot in the same place on a person in a defensive situation, whether they're at 3 yards or 1 yard, all the way out to 300 yards. And it's still going to be a combat effective shot that once the person is struck, the bad guy is struck, those rounds are going to lend itself to stopping that person from being a threat. Now, I know some of you are listening and going, wow, that's an excellent idea. And how do I do it? Well, let me show you how. It is based off the 5,200 zero, but again, we're going to go a little bit further than that, and we're going to look at exactly how much higher does the bullet go above our line of sight, and how much lower does the bullet go after it crosses our line of sight for the second time at around 200 yards. Stand by, let me show you. Now, when we're talking about this, we're talking about 223, 556, 55 grain, just a standard round, and this is just a good basic understanding. It could be a little bit different for you, just depending on the size of your barrel and things of that nature, but this is a good rule of thumb to stick with. We have our barrel here, and it's angled at an upward angle. So basically, for a 50-yard zero, we have angled the barrel in such a manner to where the bullet, and that's what this line is depicting, the bullet is intersecting with the line of sight at 50 yards away, right here. So what this is, we call this a 6-inch effective zero. And again, what this essentially means is that we're looking at how much is the bullet traveling, how much higher is the bullet traveling above our line of sight, and how much lower is our bullet traveling below our line of sight out to a certain distance. So with a 50-yard zero, you notice the bullet crosses the line of sight at 50 yards and it continues to climb to a maximum approximate height of plus 2.1 inches above our line of sight. That occurs at about 150 yards. The bullet then begins to drop rapidly at 200 yards. It's crossed that line of sight again, and then on out to approximately 300 yards. Now the round is approximately 4 inches below the line of sight, giving us that plus 2.1 above the line of sight and the -4 below the line of sight. That's what gives us that 6-inch effective zero. What's great about this is this. I'm going to draw like a silhouette of a person. We always aim high thoracic cavity, so right about in here. That's about where the sternal notch is, where the collarbones come together. Now, if I'm able to use this 6-inch effective zero, that means that I can put the red dot right here on that sternal notch, and at 50 yards, I'm dead on. At 150 yards, I'm plus 2.1 inches, so now I'm right there about the chin area, or maybe even a little bit higher at 150 yards, and then on out to 300 yards, the bullet's going to drop 4 inches below the line of sight. So that's about right in here, still in that thoracic cavity area where we have those vital organs. So what I love about this is that I'm able to put my red dot in the same spot every single time, and it's still going to be a combat effective shot that should interact with the vital organs of the bad guy.
So I hope this helps you.
So guys and girls, I really hope that this helped you next time you're having to sight your rifle in, whether you got a new optic or not. I always think that it's a great idea to check the zero on your rifle about once a quarter, so every 3 months. But next time you go to the range and you're sighting in your rifle, now you know it kind of goes beyond just a 5200 zero. We actually can go beyond that out to about 300 yards. I'm able to put my red dot in one spot, stay consistent, put the red dot in one spot on the bad guy, and I've got a 6-inch effective zero because we're taking into account the rise and fall of the bullet as it's flying through the air. So I really hope that this helped you. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. We teach all over the country. You can check us out at provectusgroup.org. All social media platforms at Provectus Group, and we'll see you next time.